Hi guys, we're back again, and today we are talking about aerobic respiration versus anaerobic respiration. So let's revisit this overall slide on cellular respiration, and we notice that glucose is first converted via glycolysis, the process, into pyruvate. Now pyruvate here has two options. In the absence of oxygen, fermentation will occur. If there is oxygen present, then pyruvate will enter mitochondria and will go through transition reaction, Krebs cycle, as well as electron transport chain reaction. So all three will occur inside the mitochondria. However, what happens if there is no oxygen? Let's look at this slide, okay? Well, here, if once glycolysis there is no oxygen, then we go through a process which is called fermentation, and this is an anaerobic process. Anaerobic process means no oxygen is used, okay? And aerobic respiration, of course, oxygen has to be present, oxygen is used, and that's why this is called aerobic respiration. All right, so why fermentation is necessary? Let's see. So let's look at the first step, glycolysis. So glucose is being converted into pyruvic acid, two molecules of pyruvic acid, 1 and 2. And in this process, you are going to have a net gain of 2 ATP. Great. Also at the same time, two high energy carrying electrons. So high energy carrying electrons are released. Somebody has to accept them, and so NAD comes along, accepts these high energy electrons, becomes reduced to NADH2. Actually, it is supposed to be written as NADH plus H plus, and that's how it should be written. Anyway, so once these are just temporary storage areas, you need to understand, where these high energy electron carriers are accepted. So, okay, we are going to soon run out of NAD. If all the NAD is converted into NADH, all right, we're going to run out of NAD. Because later on, you remember, this is reconverted back in the mitochondria. During the Krebs, during the electron transport chain, this is converted back. So understand one thing, that if there has to be an alternate pathway to regenerate, to reconvert NADH to NAD. So here we have, therefore, fermentation. Fermentation will convert this NADH back to NAD in the absence of oxygen, or in the absence of aerobic respiration. All right, so there are two types of fermentation. So first is the lactic acid fermentation, and this happens mostly in our muscles. So let's see what happens. So glucose, via glycolysis, being converted into pyruvic acid, two molecules of pyruvic acid. And at the same time, during this process, high energy containing electrons are released. These are accepted by coenzyme NAD, and this becomes a reduced coenzyme NADH. Well, now what happens is, this NADH is picked up by pyruvic acid via lactic and converted into lactic acid. This is called lactic acid fermentation. So once again, NADH picked up by pyruvic or pyruvate and converted into lactic acid. In this process, NADH is converted to NAD, and so you can NAD is regenerated. Now more and more glycolysis can occur. Problem is that lactic acid is going to accumulate, lower the pH in your muscles, and cause a lot of stinging sensation, a lot of pain. And that's why you've noticed that after running like a short 100-meter dash, you will notice that most of the sprinters are going to be panting. Basically, they are using the oxygen to get rid of this excess lactic acid, okay? The second type of fermentation is alcoholic fermentation, which does not happen with us, of course, it happens with yeast. So here, glucose, once again, is being converted via glycolysis to pyruvate or pyruvic acid. And in this process, NAD is accepting, which is a coenzyme, is accepting high energy electrons, and these are reduced to reduced coenzymes, NADH. Okay, so someone has to regenerate, somehow we have to regenerate our NAD, because we are using all the NAD and converting it to NADH. So here goes. So pyruvic acid is now, what happens is picked up, so loses one carbon dioxide and becomes a 2-carbon compound, and now this 2-carbon compound is converted into ethanol, ethyl alcohol or ethanol. Meanwhile, NADH is converted into NAD. So let's understand this. Pyruvic acid is converted into 2-carbon compound by loss of carbon dioxide. 3 minus 2 is equals to 1. And this 2-carbon compound is now converted into ethanol. But in this process, NADH is reconverted back into NAD. So we are regenerating our NAD plus. Excuse me. So if you compare aerobic versus anaerobic respiration, aerobic respiration, almost every living cell has aerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, of course, is seen in bacteria, mussels, yeast, and certain plants. Well, aerobic respiration requires oxygen. Anaerobic respiration does not require oxygen. Aerobic respiration, this complete breakdown, complete oxidation means complete breakdown. You are completely breaking down, complete breakdown of glucose, to 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, right? In anaerobic, there's always an incomplete oxidation. So you're not going to fully break down all these 6 atoms of carbon. This is your glucose, C6H12O6. You're not going to completely break it down into carbon dioxide. What are the products? Carbon dioxide, water, and energy. What are the products in anaerobic fermentation by yeast? You are going to have carbon dioxide, ethanol, and of course, energy. In mussels, you are going to have lactic acid and energy. So what about the energy released? Well, large amount of energy is released here, small amount of energy is released here. What is the site? Mitochondria and cytoplasm. First half in the cytoplasm, and then after that all the other reactions takes place inside the mitochondria. Anaerobic respiration takes place only in the cytoplasm. You do not need fancy places like the mitochondria to go to. If you look at the chemical equation, the glucose, this complete breakdown into carbon dioxide, water, and here you're getting this energy. You do not have to memorize this number. I'm just putting it in there just so that you notice that lesser energy is produced via the alcohol fermentation by yeast or lactic acid fermentation. You're seeing only lesser amount of energy. If you see the number of ATP, in the best case scenario, there's 38. And here what happens is the best case scenario, 2 molecules. Of course, we never ever produce 38. We produce much more, less than that. So another thing that I need to add, of course, is aerobic respiration is always slow. There's always a slow release. Anaerobic respiration is a fast, very, very fast process. Quick, fast, easy process. But notice that you'll end up with only 2 molecules. Here you'll end up with much, much higher number of ATP. And that is the reason why most evolved species such as us are all aerobes. Okay, the lower forms are anaerobes. All right, so I hope this video has been helpful to you guys. I thank you for your attention and time. And if there are any questions or concerns, please stop by my office or call me. Thank you.